Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu is vowing to fight until total victory after one of the Israeli army's deadliest days of fighting since the war began on October 7th. 21 soldiers were killed in an explosion in central Gaza. That death toll adding to growing pressure to negotiate some sort of ceasefire deal with Hamas. Robert Sherman is live in Tel Aviv with the very latest. Robert, 21, just a shocking loss for the IDF.
No, and that would make it the single largest loss of life in a day since October 7th, Markie. And what we're learning about what happened here is the IDF says that these 21 soldiers were in the process of laying explosives to demolish two buildings that were in Gaza when an RPG hit them, causing those explosives to prematurely detonate, killing all 21 of them. This is something that people on the ground here in Israel are talking about today, as just about everybody in this country knows someone who is serving in the IDF. And as you mentioned, Marnie, it's all playing out in the background as you have this pressure here for something to be done to potentially pause the war in exchange for the release of hostages. You've seen demonstrations taking place for days on end here. People have been camping out outside of the Prime Minister's residence, calling for more to be done. Axios is reporting today that the Israelis are offering a proposal to Hamas, which would potentially lead to a 2-month ceasefire in exchange for the release of all hostages. This would be the longest deal that the Israelis have offered up so far. It would not constitute an end to the war, but it is the largest pause that they have discussed. We'll see if there's any truth to this or any traction comes from it. As Hamas has said in the past, they will not entertain any discussions that don't lead to the outright ending of the war. But still, you have hostage families and people on the ground here calling on their government to cut some kind of deal.
My Israeli government, who I do not feel is doing everything they can, shooting will not bring our hostages home alive. We need a deal. Whatever it takes, that's what needs to be done, and deal with our other problems later.
In Gaza, over 500,000 people are facing severe hunger, according to the UN, as many have been displaced yet again due to the fighting that's been taking place inside of Gaza. And then elsewhere in the region, another key headline here is the U.S. and U.K. carrying out another series of strikes on the Houthis in Yemen. This would be the 8th strike carried out by the U.S. and the 2nd joint strike with the British. The goal here is de-escalation, to get the Houthis to back down. But their spokespeople coming out today saying they refuse to do so until the war in Gaza ends. Markie?
Yeah, and those hostage families pleading for some sort of ceasefire because of the more than 100 hostages that have been released. Only one of them was rescued under military might. The rest came in that interim truce. Robert Sherman, thanks so much, live from Tel Aviv. We appreciate it this morning. Thanks for watching, everybody. Go to joinnn.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. Also, don't forget to click that red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.